But you never know that you could. And when you feel that way, ain't it good, good dancing in the red and gold. Dancing in the red and gold.
Hello and welcome everybody to a fantastic 49er Faithful UK Live. I'm Nick Ludlam.
And as always, that makes me Paul Hope.
Guys, we all know what happened over the weekend. Our second dish of revenge was softly served. What a game it was. The Niners have followed up victory by we finally beat the Seattle Seahawks on their own turf at Thanksgiving. And we have followed it up by completely emaciating those dirty Eagles on their own turf. Once and for all, putting to bed the entire talk about whether or not the 49ers would have made the Super Bowl last year. Because now we know. Now we know. But we'll get into all of that in just a moment there, guys. Paul, how have you been doing, mate? Has that smile come off your face yet?
Well, I've got a well-known catchphrase, Faithful, and it's about time I dropped it with a minute and 58 seconds in. I am feeling pretty good. I'm rocking the We Are Purdy Damn Good t-shirt that my good friend Andy Smith and his wife purchased for me out in the States. The smile hasn't stopped. I was saying to you off air, which I'm sure we're going to get into, I was very relaxed on Sunday. I mean, I had called for a 24-point winning margin. I'd put my neck on the line and done a 31-7 prediction before the game. I'll take that. There was a 23-point margin. So 1 point, I'm not going to quibble. Honestly, I was so relaxed during that first quarter. I know the game day thread was going off. I know on Discord and Facebook, people were losing their SHIT. I really wasn't, Nick. I knew we were the better team. I'm smiling because I am known for being a home fan, red and gold through and through, always maybe looking on the bright side. We're the best team in the NFL. It showed. I said we were going to do a statement victory, and you can tell by all the comments coming through. Don't worry, people. I'm going to get to them in a moment. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty damn good. It's been good to see the love on Good Morning Football, some of the talking heads. How about you? Were you nervous at any point on Sunday?
I did get a little nervy in that first quarter. I'm not going to lie. 2-3 and outs. But the moment that first touchdown was scored, nerves gone. Literally from the moment that first touchdown went in, okay, we're not going to give up this lead. And it's now just a case of how many points are we going to score from that moment on. But I said, yeah, I did get nervy in that first quarter. I was like, 2-3 and outs wasn't looking great, but the guys fixed it, and that's all you can ask for. You know, is those in-game adjustments, and they did it perfectly.
So the chat is on fire. Cubs, you don't have to apologise, buddy. We want those comments. This is a celebration. The 49er Faithful UK Live on a Tuesday is known for jumping all over. But I will clarify my statement at the start, everyone. I wasn't nervous, Nick, because I knew Kyle Shanahan had a game plan. And some people are very critical that Kyle scripts the first 15, 20 plays, and he doesn't tend to budge from that. Now, I'm glad I was not at home on my own watching this game, because I've got people who can vouch for me. And no one better than El Presidente. So I turned to Lee midway through the first quarter, and I said, it's a bit strange that we haven't ran CMC and that it seems to be a lot pass heavy. I wonder whether Kyle's just letting Brock get it out of his system, just take it all in. You know, it's well documented what happened, the NFC Championship game, the fact that he was coming in and facing Reddick again. You know, I'd talked on the preview pod that I didn't want to see much of play action because I didn't want Purdy turning his back on those pass rushers. Yes, I knew George could block, but I didn't want to take the risk. And I thought it was very strange that CMC didn't touch the ball. And then I said to Lee, makes you wonder whether Kyle Shanahan is playing 4D chess like we know he can, and whether he's just seeing what their defense does. And the moment it all clicked for me is when we tried a bit of motion with Debo in the backfield, and the Eagles just didn't fall for it. I think the ball got handed to him on a jet sweep and he got stuffed for -6 yards. Now, at that point, I'm not going to lie, I'd called for Deebo Samuel to have a big game. I'd called for Deebo Samuel to have 2 touchdowns, which was very bold, given he hasn't had a multi-touchdown game for some time.
It's been a while.
So we'll get to Deebo in a minute, everyone, because again, I wouldn't say he let me down. He gave me a little extra one on top. But from that moment, I said to Lee, Shanahan's working these out. The secondary is not good for the Eagles. The linebackers aren't very good. And like you said, it just clicked. You say it took the first touchdown for you to settle down. The fact that this Eagles offense, Jalen Hurts, supposed to be the MVP frontrunner, couldn't punch it in.
Yeah.
It was 6-0. So for all that was good, for all that they had 11 minutes worth of possession, 2 field goals. And like you said, we marched up the field. I was wearing my Brandon Ayuk, Road White. So again, my good luck charm. I had CMC on for the Bucks game. He scored the first touchdown. I had Ayuk on for Sunday. But no, I mean, obviously, I was at a watch party, so I wasn't in the chats. And I know you tend to do a lot of your talking on Twitter, and you were probably talking to Kev. So come on, talk me through your mind frame before that first touchdown, because I've just shared mine, and I said I was quite chilled. There was a few nerves, wasn't there?
I was nervy. The weird thing is, I am currently wondering if you've got spyware on my phone, because I had the exact same conversation with another Niners fan, Shannon Kennedy. And she was saying, why isn't there no CMC? We need CMC. I said, just working out the secondary. They are just looking at the coverages. That's all they're doing. Don't worry, it'll come. And I think I mentioned something, Carl seems damned if he does and damned if he doesn't when it comes to CMC. Because if it's all CMC for the first 2 drives, everyone complains, we're overusing him. Then he doesn't use it. Oh, we're not using him enough. Just working out the coverages. Because look at what happened for the rest of the game. CMC got that ball and he destroyed them. The Eagles had no answer for anything the Niners did after the first quarter. They couldn't do anything. All they had was the tush push. That's it. That is literally
stopped it.
Exactly. It's all they have. The Eagles are the epitome of a one-play team. They're not even one-dimensional. They are a one singular play team. Because if you can stop them getting anywhere near 3rd and close, 4th and inches, the Eagles are done. Because they couldn't do anything. The Niners showed them how a real football team deals with 3rd and short, 4th and short. Look at some of the plays they run, some of the beautifully constructed plays with players going all over the shop. Defense is not, well, the Eagles defense didn't have a clue what was going on, which is evidenced by the final score. It was wonderful to see. The Eagles are nothing. They are literally nothing. They are the single biggest frauds in the history of the NFL. That team should not be a 10-win team. That team without the tush push is a 4 or 5 win team. They are frauds. They are nothing. I cannot wait to play them in the playoffs because that's an easy win. Okay, give us. I don't care if it's at their field, at our field. It doesn't matter where it is. We could play on the moon with 0 gravity. We will destroy them again. Because that's what we will do to them. The Eagles are nothing. They don't worry me. They don't concern me. I'd be more concerned about I was going to call them the Seagulls, the Sea Chickens next week. I'm more concerned about that than I would ever be about that Eagles team. They are abysmal.
So, as you've seen it here firsthand, people, Smug Nick is in the house. Now, I'll agree with you. The Eagles defense, Deebo said it better than me, the trash. We knew that going in. That's why I was relaxed. They've got a decent offense. They've got good receivers. We're going to get onto the pass rush. I've got a theory on that as well. But as Justin has put here, it's not often that you see Kyle with a tablet in his hands. He was towards the end of the first quarter. He wanted to see something. Dan's jumped in there. We live with them. And if Jimmy Garoppolo was at quarterback and we started the way we started, Kyle Shanahan would have hit him. He would have used CMC, he would have used Mitchell, he would have used Deebo. But we know Kyle has got full confidence in Brock Purdy.
Absolutely.
We're a year and a day to the Brock Express first start, and you were there in Miami. I said to the chaps on the pod last night, Happy Brock Purdy Day. Stole out of Twitter. A year to the day that 7th
Indeed.
round Mr. Irrelevant came on the field. And we're going to talk about the MVP chances later, people. Don't worry. As you can see, I'm rocking my baseball cap backwards. Colin Cowherd might have been joking, but the joke is on you, buddy, with performances
big
like
time.
that. Yes, Leanne, happy Victory Tuesday. Now, I have to admit, Sean, we will be showing Kittle the love, especially when we talk about Debo's touchdowns. But Nick,
Mhm.
at the start, I said that I wanted to ask you a question. And this is what we all need to know. Because given the nature of that win, before we deep dive into the game anymore, we've got a new segment on the show. You might have seen the game show Angry Birds. You might have seen the game Angry Birds. But the new feature on the 49er Faithful UK Live on a Tuesday, Angry Neighbours. How many letters has Nick had this week from his neighbours? Drop those numbers in the chat whilst Nick gets his breath back. We had 6 touchdowns on Sunday. The question is, did Nick get more letters than we scored touchdowns?
I'm going to let the side down a little here. I didn't get any. None. In fact, it's a little bit of an anticlimax because my neighbours underneath have gone on holiday.
Oh, well. So you were definitely able to celebrate in...
full voice. Full voice.
Look at that. No expense spared, people. I had the graphic ready. So...
I feel like I've proper let this down here now. Yeah. Yeah, of course, the neighbours underneath have gone on holiday. I was chatting with them the other day, so he'd let me know. I was like, I'm glad of that. I wouldn't have you to upset. So,
so as Neil has pointed out there, so we record the pod on StreamYard as well, but we don't do it live. So I rocked the hat backwards last night, but we haven't posted the video yet. So I thought I'd wear it again, Neil. So I'm not as harsh on the takes that Colin has, but he's definitely clickbait and he's good at what he does in some regards. And I do believe his comment about the hat was tongue in cheek, but it did give me excuses to kind of mix it up a little bit. And as Justin has put there, I couldn't possibly be professional rocking a backwards hat, but
yeah, I tried. I did try. Poor soul it looked like before, but because I don't have the sort of same back, because I've got fitted caps, because the other ones just don't fit my head properly, it just looks weird. So yeah, the hat came off.
Justin, the Eagles fans don't want to be seeing us admitting stuff like this. I was about to say, for me, one thing that I quite liked on Sunday that the Eagles fans couldn't complain about is I felt it was a clean game. I felt like neither team committed what I would call an excessive amount of penalties. There wasn't any kind of contentious decisions where the Eagles could point to this or could point to that. No, we'll get about Greenlaw. But what I mean is, in regards to the beatdown, we beat them 42 points to 19, and they could have no complaints. I've actually seen some Eagles content creators, similar to Chapman, they come out the stadium, they're recording, and they've spoke quite well. They were admitting the 49ers were the better team. The Eagles were disappointing on the night. They obviously ended it with we'll see you again in the playoffs and congratulations on winning your Super Bowl game. And I'm thinking, do you not realise we're the 49ers?
Yeah.
Yes. We're
best team in the league.
Best team in the league. We're going to celebrate a win against a big rival. But by no means is this our Super Bowl. Is this our season? So you can tell they're not as plugged into social media as what we are.
I will disagree with you on the flags. I thought the referees, near enough every single play, you had Lane Johnson, which was pointed out by Lee on social media. Lane Johnson was jumping every single snap without fail.
He wasn't. If you watch that video,
and then you got
that's been
the
shared.
right guard is also jumping quite frequently, and that was missed a lot.
But you're not disagreeing with me, because what I said was there wasn't any what I would call contentious flags. Remember the first game in January, the Smith catch, that wasn't a catch, but they didn't show it on the TV. What I mean is Eagles fans can't jump on this stream and say, because this went that way, or because Hurts got injured, or because, you scored a touchdown that shouldn't be. The fact of the matter was, we give them the first quarter. We then put together 6 in a row, which was amazing. And like I said, I was watching up in Newcastle. There was 6 Niners fans. There was a Saints fan. There was a Lions fan. The Lions fan, Andy, very giddy because his Lions team had won. and they're still in, obviously, a shout for the season. Great to see the Lions still
They
in
are
the
doing
top
very, very well.
time of the year. But as Dan's put there, he got a bang on the wall for Tebow's second touchdown, so he went louder. Justin, Angry Neighbours is here to stay, so we're going to be checking in on a weekly basis. Apparently, they should have still heard you, Nick. I agree with you, Justin. Nick should have been shouting loud.
Shout louder. I can reach Tenerife. I can reach Tenerife.
So, like what Justin said there, the officials let them play. There was a lot of what you could call pass interference from both. It was what I would call a good-natured game. We will get onto the green law bit in a moment, and we thoroughly beat them down. Same as what we did to the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
We marched into Philadelphia. It's great to see that fan base sloping off at the end. I loved seeing Breezy and Moore's Nose, Nicholas Parra all in the stadium, giving it large.
Yeah,
We've just seen that we were there. 49 Faithful UK. Callum has just posted his photos in the group. So I'm not going to lie, Callum. I've whacked them straight on Instagram because I like my social media. And to be fair, Luke, I've seen this as well, complaining about a short week. Debo Samuels addressed this. If you go watch Debo on K. Adams' show, which was about an hour ago, Debo said, we've had to play. So that's just what happens in the NFL. And as Luke has put there, try 4 10 a.m. games, 2,500 miles away, a Monday game on the 25th, and then to fly back. So,
yeah. It's no excuse. That whole short week thing is just, it's rubbish. Pure rubbish. They were literally just looking for excuses. I have seen a couple of Eagles fans actually try claiming that they've actually gone with the whole no quarterback argument.
Yeah,
I'm wondering whether it was tongue in cheek because you were missing Jalen Hurts for one drive, maybe half a drive. I'm not sure how they can quite complain on that front, but there we go.
So, like I said, on a Tuesday, we kind of have a lot to cover. We do try and keep the show to an hour. So me and Nick try and put together a loose schedule. Now, while I'm pulling up the next section, don't forget, I wasn't forgetting Tony. So Corey Davis, who was a big name in the 49ers community, had his own YouTube channel, and Bryant Culp and his wife Tony were big supporters of Corey. Now, admittedly, he wasn't someone that I've done a collab with. I've seen the name in the streams, I've seen the names in the comments, and I did see the news at the weekend because I'm in a few content creating DM groups. So I saw this flash up, Tony, and I just wanted to take the time to say, thoughts and condolences with Corey's family. Brian and Ty spoke very well, a lot better than I can, Nick, on Bryant's show last night. So when I finish this one, Tony, I'll retweet the link to that out because Bryant was personal friend of Corey's, and he could say it better than me. But just wanted to take this time to say I'd seen your message, Tony, and obviously, if you need anything, don't forget to reach out because we're all family, we're all community. So, but being as big as a 49ers fan as Corey is, I know he would love nothing more for me to segue into the beatdown on the Eagles. So, Nick, before we go into individual player talk, is there any final thoughts on the actual game? Because we're going to go into like Debo, Brock.
Yeah, there's going to be the individuals there, but generally, gotta love it. It was a near complete performance. Barring the first quarter, it was near enough perfect. You can't ask for much more, really. There's never going to be a game where everything goes your way. It just doesn't happen. It's the world of professional sport. You look at any sport the world over, no matter how obscure, nothing is perfect. Tennis players don't win every single point all on the way through to a victory. It doesn't happen. Snooker players don't score 147s every single frame. It doesn't happen. But this was as close as you can get and as close as you can expect against a team which is supposed to be quite good, but it turns out actually really isn't.
Yeah. So I've just looked at my notes there. So I'd called for a 31-7 victory on the pod. None of us got the score predictions, but I was the closest with the winning points margin. Now, we're going to be slightly different, people, than every other show. We are going to talk about Brock Purdy. Of course, we're going to talk about Brock. But for me personally, when I text Nick this afternoon to say we're putting the show together, Conor Ryan has not paid for this endorsement. That's what I'm just throwing out there. But Deebo Samuel, Nick, I mean, I'll just get the stats up here for Victory Tuesday. So I saw this tweet and I thought, I'm going to quote it word perfect. If a ball could run a 4.48 40-yard dash, still wouldn't be more dangerous in the open field than Deebo Samuel. And I just thought that was very fitting. Back to his vintage best, back to the Deebo that we know and love. He just finds a way to make something out of nothing. That second touchdown,
Brilliant.
Next Gen Stats had him down when he catches that ball from Brock. There's a 0.1% chance of scoring a touchdown.
Jesus.
And he takes that to the house. He only received 4 targets all game, caught all of them for 116 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also ran for 22 yards on 3 carries and a 3rd touchdown. I was blown away. I know Connor is probably Deebo's biggest fan on this side of the pond. I know Connor was jumping up and down, but what was your takes on Deebo Samuel?
That was vintage Deebo. That's Deebo at his best, doing what Deebo does, just running through you. Put what you want in front of him. He's going to go through. He's going to do everything. He was just fantastic. He was great hands. He just looked, and it was brilliant. He looked like he was enjoying the game. It didn't look like at any point any part of what he did was a chore. He was just there in the moment, and just they couldn't touch him. But you can say the same about so many of the other players that played yesterday. I think the biggest compliment for Deebo actually came from Brandon Ayuk. After he scored one of his touchdowns, you just see Brandon Ayuk sliding in, and you could see how happy his teammates are for him. And I think it was a tweet I saw from 49er Hodge where I saw it, and he said himself, the love on the team for each other, that's just amazing. They are celebrating so much for when the other guys score. It's not just about themselves. It's not about padding their stats. I mean, Ayuk's coming up for a big contract. You'd think he'd want to pad his stats, but he doesn't. He is so happy for his man. And you love it. It's just awesome. Every part of it is amazing. At no point when Deebo got the ball did I think he wasn't going to score.
Yeah,
it was insane.
I mean, when I say we prepare for the show, everyone, me and Nick work full time. Got family, got friends, other interests, and the Tuesday show we try not to script it too much because we want you guys in the comments to jump in as well. And I'm laughing because you're talking about the no egos on the team. You're talking about them playing for themselves. So you go much to Deebo's first touchdown pass. That was my favourite one of the night because I like the Kyle Shanahan end-around play. I like the trickery. And George Kittle out in front blocking those 2 defenders so Deebo can run in untouched. You go to the second touchdown, and like I said earlier, 0.1% chance of scoring. Deebo gets that ball. Now, yes, he shrugs off the defender, but you look at Jennings, you look at Ayuk, you look at Kittle, you look at Trent, and then the third touchdown, go and watch the JT O'Sullivan QB school because the all-22 view on Deebo's third touchdown, when he gets that ball and you see the O-line and you see the tunnel that they create, and the fact that CMC goes out in motion at the far end of the field, which lures the linebacker, and it's too late because Deebo runs in. And that was another 48 yards. As Cubs has put there, Deebo Samuel, 117 total yards, 116 after the catch. Damn near broke Reddick's ankles. How poetic would that have been? No, I get what you mean, Cubs. You didn't mean it literally. Luke has chimed in there because I wanted to show Deebo the love. Deebo has the heart of Baldwin. They want to fight defensive backs. Yeah, Kittle got a buy one, get one free. Now, I know we've shown the love to Deebo, but my good friend Nick has obviously quoted Ayuk and Jennings. The Jennings touchdown from the all-22 view, CMC is blocking the rusher in the air gap. arguably your best weapon on your field. I'm not saying CMC isn't any slouch, but you've got him in a blocking role, and he's not sulking, he's not mourning.
No.
And Purdy gets that ball out to Jennings, shrugs the defender. And like you said, as Niners fans, we've been saying for a long time, let's get excited about this team. And that was the perfect performance. I believe personally that was a better win than beating the Cowboys. What do you think?
Yeah, I can see that, especially with the mental side of things from behind, with what happened last time. You know, that's a lot for a young quarterback to deal with. You know, the last time I came up against these guys here, I had, 10, 15 years ago could have potentially been a career-ending injury. And to come back and be better and do that, and then you have that just a near perfect performance across the field from everyone, offense and defense, working in perfect harmony. I can see why you'd say that's a better result than the Cowboys, to be honest. Yeah.
So we're joined by 49ers royalty, Aaron, 49ers First Takes podcast, and Ty, who joined late. Now, Aaron and Ty, you've probably just missed our attempt at showing Corey some love. I caught your show this afternoon because you guys were on too late for me last night. Not a dig at you. It's the stupid time difference in the UK. And I just wanted to say, Aaron and Ty, that I felt that you handled the topic very well. And I was really touched by Bryant's message. So I did send Bryant a message this afternoon, Nick. I sent him a DM just saying I'd caught the show and I just wanted to reach out. And now that Aaron and Ty are here as well. So the chat is on fire. Ty Olsen's in the house.
It's flying.
Aaron's in the house. As Ty's put there, going back to what we talked about, Kittle was out front blocking the downfield on the second touchdown as well. Look at the
Kittle
play
loves
design.
off a block. Kittle loves a good block as much as he loves a touchdown.
I mean, Kittle was mashing blocks on the running plays. Again, look at the targets. He had 4 of his 6 targets for 68 yards, including that one where he was out on the sideline on his own, looked like he was going to block, and then he ran away. And that's what this offense, there's so many wrinkles to this offense. And that's why I'd seen a tweet yesterday asking, had Shanahan or Wilkes had the better game plan? Now, don't answer that yet, because we're not finished on the wide receivers. But before we move on, Jennings had one of his most productive games of the season, 3 receptions, 44 yards, obviously a touchdown. Brandon Ayuk, that first diving touchdown, he has to haul it in. I wasn't even worried. Like most people were like, oh, is that going to get turned over? And I was like, no. The good thing is that we were in white. When he stood up and he just had the green all up his white jersey and he had the green on his gloves, I thought there's no way they're overturning this. And that's what I mean. Like, I think the referees deserve a little bit of credit, Nick. I know you were a little bit disagreeing with me. No, James. It's not Iron Brew I'm drinking. It's just some juice. So, yeah, on record, teetotal. So I'm heading up to the Candlestick Inn on Sunday. Our good friend Brett Sinclair, he's reluctantly allowed me entry, even though I'm a non-drinker. I'm looking forward to seeing the state that they all get into, James. And I will be going live at some point on the Instagram account. Don't you worry about that. Going back to what we were saying there, the skill players block so well. It was like watching a play drawn on the whiteboard come to life. And I Justin's agreeing with you there about CMC stood him up in the block. And I'm on record for showing love for CMC. Obviously, Club 85, mine and your kind of first love when the 75 jerseys came out.
85.
No, the 75.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said 75. That's where
Club 85 comes from. That's where Club 85 comes from. Come on, keep up. So, Nick, I've gushed about Deebo Samuel. Where would you like to go next, buddy? Because we're not finished on this beatdown on the Eagles. You know if I'm
no. Oh, hell no. No, I think there's only one person we can talk about now. And that is MV Purdy. He is the MVP of this league. He is proving it week after week after week. It is insane, the things that he is doing. Utterly insane. You're looking at a man who has only just put together enough tape to be considered to have played a full season. I mean, I think it went up it was Eric Oregard, wasn't it? Who put it in on the in the Discord. when you look at the top 10, was it the top 8 or top 10? I can't remember. Passer ratings posted by quarterbacks in the league. Almost half of them are Brock Purdy, who is essentially still a first-year quarterback. Yeah, we can go on and on about the whole 7th round thing. I did enjoy the 7th round connection between him and Jennings as well. That was a nice little touch, I think someone put on Twitter. But Brock Purdy's special. How can you say this kid is not elite? You can't.
I'm on the same page as Ty, but I'm biased. I think CMC is the MVP. It's not a knock on Brock. I'm rocking me with your Purdy good. The non-Niners fans watching, so the lads that I grew up with, who were Bills, Chiefs, Eagles, Cowboys, none of them are Niners fans. And when we started to put together content creating, the hype would come out about obviously the trading up, and then we went for Trey. And I went all in on Trey Lance. I'm on record for saying that. I'm not going to backtrack. But I've been on the Brock Express from day one. I've given Ted Talks ball plenty of ribbon because he keeps jumping on and off. Aaron, 49ers first takes, who's in the house. I know he's come on record and saying, you've got to start giving this kid his flowers. It got to a point now, you've had a year of game tape. Brock Purdy's played the equivalent of a full year now. He wasn't the star of the show on Sunday, and I don't mean that to be in a bad way.
No, he doesn't need to be.
He avoided costly mistakes. We always say on the 49er Faithful UK, you win the turnover battle, you win the football game.
Absolutely.
Now, neither team turned the ball over, but Brock didn't put the ball in harm's way. Like I said earlier on, the JT O'Sullivan breakdown, he knows more than what I do. I'm just a fan in the UK that stays up till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning watching the 49ers. Weedley couldn't jump on any of the shows on Sunday's game because I went up to Newcastle, which is about an hour's drive from mine. So when the game finished, Nick, I had to jump in the car, drive back. So definite fear of missing out. I missed out Chapman. I missed out Breezy. I've caught up. The Purdy MVP buzz is understandable. I mean, like Ty, I'm a little bit confused at why McCaffrey's fallen out of the conversation. He's having an incredible season. But the NFL's a QB league. Everybody wants to see the QBs win these awards. You'd like to think they'd just make it a QB award because it isn't a true MVP award. But obviously, Brock Purdy is QB1. I think he deserves the award. A lot of my friends who were hating Brock Purdy have gone quiet, Nick, which is interesting to see. I didn't go down the Brock tweets after this game. I went on the Debo gif, which you've probably seen. And the explanation behind that, everyone, is when we thought Debo was getting traded last year. And when I say we, I mean the non-Niners fans. And they kept tagging me in that tweet. And I knew I'd have the last laugh because I knew Debo wasn't going anywhere. So after that game on Sunday, that's why you've seen a lot of that tweet. But, I mean, look at his 314 passing yards, Purdy, on Sunday at the third highest of his career. His 4 passing touchdowns match his career high set against Dallas. In the 3 games against NFC East opponents, Nick, this year, he's completed 61 of 88 passes for 876 yards with 10 touchdowns and no interceptions. I mean, we're very high on the Brock Express on this side of the pond. Anything else you want to add to the Purdy MVP talk, Nick, while I catch up on the comments?
No, he's absolutely phenomenal. Kid's elite. Kid's elite. Go look at the stats. Go look at the passer ratings he's putting up. He is, at the moment this season, as far as QBs go, he's playing on another level. He is up there with the best of them this season on these performances. We're going to need some time before we start ghosting him. But he is playing at an elite level.
Well, to be fair, Nick, to back you up there, while I was just catching up on my notes, I thought you were going to start peppering it with the stats, but Mr. Simpson's missing tonight. Whatever metric you can pick of how you judge your quarterbacks, Brock Purdy's leading it.
It's number one.
Most completions, most passes. I've even seen some people try and look at the yards after the catch, and they've actually said that when Mahomes won his MVP and Rodgers won his MVP, their yards after the catch percentage was actually higher than Brock's, but that's just been swept under the carpet. But it depends on your narrative. As Ty has put there, you were in San Francisco at the time, so you could have gone on record. But I went on record the next day, I did a show with Ty, and I said I believed in Brock. I've not jumped on a jersey purchase, and we'll explain that later in my Would You Rather, which Nick is very eagerly awaiting, I can assure you. But Purdy is the betting favourite. Vegas have got him as the betting favourite. He's jumped over Hurts. Dak Prescott's still in the conversation. And it's quite interesting that in a year, we've gone from you four in Miami going, oh God, when he entered the field. And that was the polite version to now.
Oh, yeah, cannot be repeated what was being said.
And you're now here saying MVP. Now, it would be awesome to see him win it this year because I would definitely use that stick to beat a lot of the haters who've come in after me. And as Dan has put there, let's have a look. The comment. Dan has put BCB for MVP. Let's get it trending. Justin has commented that he still is a Trey Lance guy, but he can't deny how phenomenal Brock has been. And it would be wrong. And I think that's where Niners fans are coming round to. We all jumped on the Jimmy G train. We all bought the jerseys. We thought he was going to be the man. We gave him all the support. We all went in on Trey Lance because, again, we support our team. We're the faithful. We've all sat through Brian Hoyer, Blaine Gabbert, plenty of horrific quarterback play. And Brock Purdy has come in, and I don't know whether, as a 7th-round pick, our expectations were lowered. And he's just got better and better. And
kept going.
You just go watch the game tape. I just think it's unbelievable. And as Ty has put there, let's have a look at the comments. No need for jokes or hate. We've moved on. And again, I agree. So, a little look. This bit made me laugh. So, Martin is in the bath. So, he's told us to keep on talking. He's in no rush. And private pictures are available on Only Tubs. Yeah. And let's have a little look.
Swiftly moving on.
Well, already teased it. So we've got to that part of the show. And I just load up the Would You Rather.
Oh.
Nick's favourite part of the show.
This is where evil Paul comes out.
No. I've had some help with mine this week, to be fair. However, the one that's written down isn't the one that I'm going to use because I've got a better one. But there is, before you tell me yours, I have an apology to make because last week I got a lot of the faithful in the UK excited. So just to clarify, the Would You Rather is hypothetical.
Oh, purely.
So the gold mine is an invite only for the fan chapters. So you have to apply to get in. Now, obviously, this season's still ongoing and it's not going to end until February. So what I want to clarify, Nick, is we don't know what's happening next season. But I asked Nick a hypothetical question based on if we were going back.
Yeah,
so I just wanted to clear that up. Just wanted to clear that up. So the $1 million question, Nick, do you want me to go first? Or do you want to go first?
I think you can go first this time. Oh, God.
Okay. So we are reaching that time of the year. Christmas is around the corner. Now, you've all heard me talk about my good lady, Tracy. She always knows what to buy me, Nick. Nothing to do with the hints and tips and the links that I send her and anything with a 49ers logo on is always good.
Yeah.
Now, one of Tracy's favourite sayings is, why do you always want more than one hat? Why do you need another jersey? Or why do you need anything else red and gold? Now, I know everybody's on the same page as me. Can never have enough 49ers merch.
No.
Can never have enough 49ers gear. So I obviously have my own wish list, which I want from the big guy in the sky. So before I ask you my question, is there anything that you're hoping for from the big guy for Christmas? Anything Niners related? So anything on your wish list of yours?
No, I don't think there is, actually, to be honest. I mean, I don't know. No, I don't think there actually is. I think there's one thing from the San Francisco Giants on my Christmas list, but there isn't generally anything on there because my family normally knock it out the park with Niners stuff, so I don't actually put anything on there. So I'm always sort of curious as to see what's coming.
Yeah.
Less
Well,
curious about the Would You Rather.
so being joined by Faithful from Manny from
How do,
California.
Manny?
Appreciate you joining. She would definitely agree with you, Ty, on this one. Well, Nick, for the purpose of this Would You Rather,
Right.
I want you to think of 5 jerseys that you would like for Christmas.
Okay.
Don't have to tell them. Just think of it in your head. So I'm sure if I offered you, there's 5 jerseys that you could have. Is that correct?
I reckon I could find 5, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
So
God.
you've got your 5 jerseys in mind. Now, my Would You Rather is, would you rather have those 5 jerseys for Christmas, or would you rather have 5 hats? But there is going to be a however once you give me your answer.
Yeah. I'm wondering what that, however, might be before I answer because I could
right,
be
I'll
leaving
give that
myself
to you
into a
before, however.
world.
Right?
I'll,
So you've
I'll
got your
no, okay.
no,
I'll
no,
go with
no.
the jerseys. It's okay.
Right.
I'll go with the jerseys.
I'll let you have an out because I maybe should have given you the however. So there's no trick question. You're going to get you're either going to get your jerseys, going to get your hats. Bear with me. The however is, whichever one you pick, you have to wear all of them at the same time on Christmas Day. So if you get 5 jerseys, you've seen the episode of Friends. Could I be wearing any more clothes?
Yeah, I look bad in one hat. I mean, good Lord, can you imagine 6? I'd look like I'm trying to recreate a Mr. Bean sketch. I think I'd rather be accused of recreating a Friends sketch than anything else, to be
So
honest.
you don't want you don't want the big hat that guy's got on. So Tracy was involved in tonight's Would You Rather, and she said, "I bet you he picks the jerseys." And I was like,
Oh God,
okay.
a second butt, right? Okay.
And she said, "Will he'll have more than 5 jerseys at the moment, won't he?" And I was like, "Yeah, I reckon he would." So she said, "If he picks the jerseys," and she said, "I'm allowed to quote her. This is a direct quote from Tracy. She expects on Christmas Day a photo with me and her tagged in it with you wearing 5 jerseys for the purpose of this show."
I will do that. And thankfully, having lost quite a bit of weight, and some of my jerseys are substantially bigger now, I could probably do it. It shouldn't look too bad. Yeah, I'm in for that. I can do that on Christmas Day. You'll have to remind me because I'm liable to forget.
So yeah, Jay's already put their picks. So to be honest, I won't make you do the lunges like Joy did on Friends.
I get back up after going down, man.
So for those new people tuning in every week, me and Nick ask each other a hypothetical Would You Rather. Some of them can be rather evil. Some of them can be a bit fun. Now, we have said it, and we'll say it again. If you would like to come on the show and ask me and Nick a Would You Rather, please just reach out into the DMs. We would love people to come on. It takes the hard work off us. I cheated tonight. I was like, Tracy, Jasmine, I need a hand. I did have a different one, which I'll share later. I had one related to the incident with Greenlaw and the security guard, but because we were in celebratory mode and I wanted to be light-hearted, I decided to go with a Christmas one. Okay. So Miss Ty has put there, this Christmas, go to the theatre, see Nick Ludlam and Mr. Bean goes to Levi's. And Manny, if I lived where you lived, I'd be going to Christmas with the Niners at Levi's Stadium. So we do appreciate you tuning in. And Cubs, I will get you the link if Ty hasn't. So yeah, if you're not watching Ty's show, if you're not subscribed to Ty's YouTube, we would hit it up. And Ty, so good. We will be doing that preview show of me at Levi's. It's just been super busy with work, with family. But Ty is a stand-up guy. He's waiting for me to confirm a date and a time. And I'm procrastinating because I don't want Nick to ask me his Would You Rather because I have a feeling.
The wonder way, just glazing over this quite nicely.
No, come on. I'll play it along.
Well, it's relatively simple. A little bit meaner. Not nasty, not evil mean, but it is a little mean. Now, obviously, the last game, it was a big win. Beating the Eagles is a big win, moving on towards number 1. Revenge for the NFC Championship game. The fact that it's just Philadelphia and no one likes them. All very good reasons for wanting that win. But I suppose I'm going to give you an option here. Would you rather keep last night's win, or we can go back in time? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you those other 3 losses?
You have been listening to me. That was going to be my would you rather. I was going to take the London game out, and I was going to say you've got to either keep one of the Dallas or the Eagles. This was like the scenario, that security guard, but you had to choose either the Vikings or the Bengals loss to eradicate, but you weren't allowed to pick London because that was an obvious one. And I thought, you know what? That's too easy because he's going to keep the Eagles win. So I can't believe you've gone down that path.
I'm so glad you went with something different because we've been nearly doing this show a year now, and that's the closest we've come to having the same would you rather.
Yeah.
So you already know the question there, mate. So you're going to keep
the answer to your question is
it?
I'm keeping last night's performance. Mm-hmm. I'm keeping the win against the Eagles. I've just said it was. The Seahawks games are always the most important ones to me because my journey as a Niners fan started 2011, 2012, and the Seahawks have handed me some horrific losses over the years. True. So the fact that we own them at the moment, they are the biggest games to me personally. I do feel the Eagles game was the biggest game so far because we'd played the Seahawks. But given where we're at in the season now, momentum is key in the NFL. So I wouldn't want to do anything to mix that up. Those 3 losses are gone. All that matters now is the next game. And like you said, we are going to focus about Seattle. We are going to talk about that in a minute. But to answer your question, no, we're keeping that one. 1, because of Debo's performance. 2, because of Kyle Shanahan's. And Alex Simpson had asked on Twitter who had the better game plan, Shanahan or Wilkes. I'm going to say Shanahan, not taking anything away from Wilkes. I just think the offense answered the questions. But to end this segment, who are you going, Shanahan or Wilkes?
I'm actually going to say Wilkes. Purely because his game plan was almost as perfect as Carl's for those second, third, and fourth quarters. And I thought that the defense had a better first quarter than the offense did.
So Ty has put his YouTube channel up on there. So Ty, we like to show the love.
Definitely.
Is at Stay Faithful VIP. Ty managed to bag a chat with Brianna McDonald. And yeah, I was very excitable at Levi's for the Buccaneers game. Mate, no apologies for that. So I am going to be jumping on a show with Ty and talking about that. So cheeky plug for mine and Ty's show, which will be on his channel. Ty agrees with me there. Shanahan at the Eagles defense, completely baffled. Before we move on to Eagles talk, Nick, we haven't really talked defense. And I think given the performance, what were your thoughts on the pass rush and the secondary? Which I know is a very vague question, but
no, they were brilliant because at the end of the day, you can talk about them one in the same because we all know that a good pass rush helps the secondary, a good secondary helps a good pass rush. They go hand in hand, and they played really well. You know, you look at it throughout the park. Ward let a few go, but overall he was phenomenal at the back. Ambry Thomas again, phenomenal at the back. The only thing was that one play, that one moment of madness from Dre, where he had him. He didn't need to do what he did. At the end of it, that was silly. He literally brushed the guy's cheek, but you can't go touching someone like that. The rules are the rules. You're as good as gone. You know. He didn't need to suplex the guy in the way he did because that was always going to get flagged. Referees are always watching Dre because they know how close to the edge he plays. And we don't want to stop him from playing so close to the edge because it takes a little bit away of what Dre Greenlaw is. It's the thing that we love about him. It's the thing that Fred loves about him. It's what Fred feeds off. It's what the defense feeds off. But he didn't need to. He had him. He wrapped him up. All you had to do was get him down, and then say that you can't go touching the face, or even if the guy isn't a player. You know, he was always going to get ejected.
Dre Greenlaw plays with that his hair's on fire mentality, chip on his shoulder, close to the bone. In real time, he's kind of completed the tackle, but yeah, it is a suplex. It is a wrestling move. And then because it was on their sideline, I agree. Their Big Dom, whatever he's called, shouldn't be on the sideline.
No, he shouldn't have been there.
The other player. Yeah, Dre Greenlaw obviously went to shush him. Now, at the time, I wasn't as nervous because we were playing well and Burks has been playing well on special teams and we still had Fred. The pass rush has come in for a lot of heat because we only got 3 sacks. But if you look at the pressure rate, I think we've got something like 49 pressures on Hurts. And the game plan was to keep the pocket intact, make him throw, which shows Wilkes has done wonders with that secondary. You know, Hufanga's out for the season. Yeah. Ambry Thomas just keeps getting better and better. And Mooney Ward had a good game. I mean, we're looking at that hit from Lenore. That was unbelievable. I mean, the 49ers secondary, if you go off the box score, I think Hurts had 300 passing yards. Smith and AJ Brown had, well, I say big chunk plays, but a lot of them were on comebacks. Now, what you want your cornerbacks to do on a comeback route is not get torched. And that's what Wilkes has done. We have that kind of soft zone coverage.
And don't
hard to defend. They're hard to defend against the comebacks. But like you said, that first drive, they seem to get these big chunk plays. And then the red zone door was slammed shut.
Stop.
So whilst we gave up receiving yards, that's what this defense does. And to me, it's the NFL. You know, Ward and Thomas combined for 7 pass breakups. There was always going to be a bit of give and take. But I just thought the fact that Wilkes has got the defense playing well on both ends just goes to show. I mean, 19 points in today's NFL isn't a great deal if you're holding teams to 19 points.
When you've got such high-powered offenses which are geared so heavily, and there's so many tricks now these days. It is incredible.
I mean, I think, Luke, the referees tried to referee the game in the spirit that it was the top 2 in the NFC, arguably the top 2 in the NFL. I am slightly surprised it wasn't flexed to prime time. I'm glad it wasn't. Sorry to upset you guys in the States because that's a 1 a.m. start for us in the UK.
Yeah.
So, like Dan has put there, we found Hurts out. How many times we've seen back in space, not knowing where to go. So before we move on to so many talk, we just wanted to talk about the defense because again, Fred lived up to expectations. Defensive Player of the Year in my eyes.
Yeah.
I won't have any slander on Fred on this show. Going back to earlier, James's 5 jerseys, if he could pick Williams, Warner, Debo, CMC, and Ayuk. Now, Tracy did say, Nick, is there any jerseys that you're after? Because obviously I got the CMC jersey and I was like, I definitely need a Debo. I definitely need a Purdy. And I'm like, Trent Williams one would be special because I just think he is arguably the best player in football at his position. So,
without doubt.
Anything else? So I think, Nick, we could talk for hours and hours about the Eagles game.
Oh, yeah.
If you want more of the British point of view, the 49er Faithful UK podcast has dropped. So myself and Lee, Nadji, and Gareth being the other Welshman. Obviously, I do the shorter choose with Nick. We have done our pod last night, so that's out now. We will be doing a bit more of a deep dive on the Seahawks game on Thursday night, so do tune into that. And yeah, Luke's, that was what I was going to get to. Armstead won Walter Payton
nominated.
Nominated.
Oh, he's the Niners nomination. Yeah, I think Ty's got it underneath as well there. In fairness, I read it off there. He's been nominated. He's our nomination. So as far as we're concerned, yeah, that's good enough.
So I know you don't do. See, Nick doesn't do score predictions, and we do on the pod. So
I jinx the team.
So
I
have a foot in both camps. So obviously I do the pod. So we have the awesome foursome with the pod. Then me and Nick have done the live. So there's the fabulous 5, the famous 5. There's the 5 UK content creators on this side of the pond. But you don't like to do a score prediction. So it kind of takes you out when Nadji or Lee or Gareth can't do the pod. It's like, should we give Nick a shout? It's like, yeah, but he doesn't do score predictions. And that's a big part of the show on a Thursday night. And you're like, nope, I don't want to do that. And you were going to come on a couple of weeks ago, but obviously I know you're busy with work and stuff. So
I'd been a bit unwell a few weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Farrell, I always worry about pronouncing your first name wrong. Make no apologies for that. So the Irish faithful have got a big Niner watch party in Dublin this Sunday. I did say I would give them a shout out. So do go check out Twitter for the details. If you're over in Ireland, I'm sure the guys would love to see you. I am heading up to Falkirk with a few others to watch the Seahawks game. And that's where I wanted to finish off, Nick. We had 5 watch parties
Mini
at
meets
the
everywhere.
weekend. So we had one in Belfast, one in Newcastle, one in Wakefield, one in Kent,
Plymouth.
and one in Plymouth. So I know the aim of the group was always to get a trip to Levi's, and we did that. But another aim of ours is to see these mini watch parties pop up. So
Absolutely.
we had pretty much a big chunk of the UK covered on Sunday. Now, I know I didn't get out to Treasure Island when we were in San Francisco because we weren't there long enough. But when you look at watch party goals, 49er Mark and Top Hat Debbie shared a photo that they were at the Gold Bar Whiskey watch party on Treasure Island. The view of the city
It was
behind
phenomenal.
that big screen, that is ultimate watch party goals. I saw that and I was
awesome. Yeah, I saw them on photos as well. Maria Ruiz from the group, obviously with the Santa Clara Booster Club as well. She was there, and it looked amazing. I mean, if you want to watch a team batter someone that you really don't like, that's a hell of a view in behind. It was absolutely stunning.
Well, Jay, what we're saying, the challenge to the faithful is going around your own. It is easy when the game's on Sky. So Sky Sports is the big broadcaster in the UK. They show one of the early games and one of the later games. So the Niners feature quite highly on that list because we're playing well. So this Sunday, we're not the 9:00 game. It's the Bills. I want to say Bills Chiefs. Let's have a look. Yeah, Bills Chiefs is the 9:25 game. So for those of you who have a Game Pass subscription, you can relax. You're not blacked out this Sunday. You can watch the game on there. If you're arranging a mini watch party, let me know. It will be difficult if the game's not on Sky because most bars won't show Game Pass. Mike, never apologise. If you're watching back,
always welcome.
Do have a cheeky favour. Drop us a like, drop us a comment. Since Wayne, and that's a bit, I'm going to get the banner loaded up. Since our sponsor, Nick, has started doing our wonderful thumbnails. So Wayne, who is Sussex property photographer, had noticed that our views have gone up, buddy. Now, don't know whether that's to do with the pictures that Wayne's doing or whether the fact that the message is getting out there. We're up to 650 subs on YouTube,
I
which
think
is
it's going to be
amazing. But no, so for those people tuning in, Wayne is a member of the group. He brings his camera to every meetup, and he's got his own business, Sussex property photographer. The website's gone across the bottom. If you want any more information, give him a shout. So
it's all there.
It's all
you won't regret asking Wayne to cover your event. He is absolutely phenomenal. You see the photos in the group, Sky. Yeah, he's done all of our meets. They are incredible.
So pronounced Owen. Can't get that wrong, but I'm not
I told
alone.
you a dozen times.
But Justin would never have guessed that. And I don't like to insult people. Mr. Farrell has been a big supporter of ours, and I like to show the love. He's been a big friend of mine on Twitter. And it's great to see the Irish faithful trying to replicate what we're doing on this side of the pond. And like what John Chapman says, we're all one family, we're one community. We all support the Niners. If there's anything we can all do to help each other, we will. Jeff Reinbold shows us the love. He tweeted the picture out again at the weekend. I think that's more to do with Lee and Nadji meeting him in Vegas than it is to do with me, but I'll take it. Dan was put there that he's looking at a Midlands meetup. So to be fair, Dan, Jay Peplow, who's in the chat, did have one lined up for Birmingham last year, but then Nick Clark came along and said, "Hey, you guys, would you like an official watch party in Leeds?" We would. And Ty, breaking news. We've got 651 subs.
He's updated it.
He has updated it. So the only other public service announcement that I had, and I think I upset Nick with this yesterday, but I was looking at the calendar, people. On Tuesday, the 26th of December, is Boxing Day. It's a public holiday in the UK. For me personally, it's a big day for the family. And when I was doing a bit of research, Nick, with the English Premier League, with everything else on, taking the decision that we won't be going live on that Tuesday. Doesn't mean we won't be going live on the Wednesday or the Thursday or the Friday that week. So keep an eye out, people. But I know we've got this slot of hours on a Tuesday, but I just wanted to put the message out there now that on Boxing Day, given that the Ravens game, Nick, is technically a Boxing Day game and it doesn't finish till about 5, 6 in the morning, I'm boxing clever with my family time here, buddy.
No worries.
But no, I dropped that message to Nick yesterday. Yeah, if you could hit the like button, if you could share the group, we would appreciate it. What's Jason? The Midlands is the best area. Makes sense being in the middle of the country. Is there anything else, Nick? Because I'm just waffling now.
No, I think we've given these guys quite enough to think about this wonderful Tuesday evening. Just want to say thank you all so very, 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 very much for coming along. You guys, yeah, we said, please hit those likes, hit those subscribes, and don't forget to do the same for Ty's channel. Man's a legend. Should be in the thousands upon thousands. But I think that's all really I've got to say, to be honest. Otherwise, I'm just going to get too excitable, and we're just going to say the same things all over again about how we destroyed the Eagles.
Yeah, let that get in. We're going to destroy the Seahawks on Sunday. Got every confidence in that. For a more of a deep dive, like I said, look out for the 49er Faithful UK pod. We might not be back on the 26th of December, but me and Nick will be back next Tuesday at 8 p.m. So do tune in, do turn on those notifications, do hit that like button. And all that is left for me to say, because the video is loaded up, Nick, it's a smooth operation on a Tuesday. Stay safe and go Niners.
Go Niners, baby.
We love the San Francisco 49ers deep in our heart. Like Joe Montana in the corner, Deep Clark, Garrison Hurst, stiff farm going